what's new and what's cool. This is a wonderful event. There are so many animals here today with so much love to give, and it's heartwarming to see everybody out here supporting this. I'm thrilled to be a part of it. My name is Jeannie Tuttle, and I'm a dog trainer. My company is Dog Genie. I specialize in teaching people how to communicate with their animals in a positive way. I'm a certified professional dog trainer, which means I've trained hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dog and owner teams over the last 20+ years. I work with leaders in the industry to keep my credential up so that I can give my clients the best solutions possible. I'd like to introduce my partner today, Corsa. She's one of my dogs. She's a 9-year-old retired racing greyhound. She came from a track in Caliente, Mexico. And when she was there, she just lived in a crate, a 2-foot by 3-foot crate, 24 hours a day. She was let out 4 times a day to go potty. And just like that. She does, when I say potty, she does it on cue. It's easy. And eat and exercise. When we were at our adopt-a-thon, she went over to my husband and just flirted mercilessly with him, and she just poured it on, a total flirt, and he says, well, I guess we'll have to get this one. So it was love at first sight, just like all of you know how that feels. So then when we got her home, we found out she had a few issues. Who doesn't? I know a lot of humans that could use some help with socialization, too. Yeah. So anyways, she had severe separation anxiety, and she also marks like a male. She'll typically lift her leg and urine mark a lot. We didn't know that up ahead of schedule. She also was quite the resource guarder, and she would try to, growl and snap at us if we took something away from her. Being a greyhound, she's pretty prey aggressive. You can see she's picked up, there's a couple rabbits there. But actually, it looks like my modifications are working pretty well. So far, so good. She also had whole interesting issues with play aggression. She really has very inappropriate play behaviors. Her idea of a good time playing is to run and try to tackle another dog, bite its eye out, chew it in the neck. So she's really not a dog park candidate. Not every dog is, and that's okay. The moral of the story is we fell in love with her, and she needed a little bit of help. So if you adopt a dog and it has a couple of issues, fear not. Just need to get the right help. We have the technology. I think it's a shame how many animals are relinquished to the shelter simply because they're acting like, in this case, a dog, doing things in a dog-like way. We can communicate and show animals how we want them to learn to live with us. So that's a little bit of encouragement, because she's really great now, and we couldn't imagine our lives without her. What I wanted to do today, you may have seen people. I was thinking it would be cordless. You may have seen people walking around with all kinds of contraptions, all kinds of dog walking gear. So I thought we'd take a little tour through that, and I'll show you. And I'll show you what works and what doesn't. I thought we would start just with a plain old leash. You want to make sure that your leash corresponds to the size of your dog. So I wouldn't put 75 pounds worth of professional athlete, which is Corsa, on a little dinky leash like this, normally. I use a big beefy leash like this. I like the leather, I like the braided. Similarly, I would not put a big heavy leash like this on a little toy breed, or on a Pomeranian or a Chihuahua, because the hardware is going to weigh more than the dog. That's kind of a bad cartoon image there.
That's a big dog.
Yeah, that is a big dog. Also, you've seen flexible, retractable leashes. Those are great for just a day at the park, but not so much a training tool. In training, we use a fixed length leash that corresponds to the size of the dog. Next up, let's talk about collars. You've seen a plain old buckle collar. These do the trick for many dogs that don't have a problem backing out of them or anything. Standard. Horse is wearing a martingale collar. I got her wet before this, so everything's sticky. Okay, a martingale collar has a loop on a loop construction. See that? And sidebar, what is that red square thing hanging down? That's her quiet spot. And that's simply just a tag bag because she has a tag with my identification on it, which you always want to make sure your dog has. A tag with her county license. Yeah, here for licensing. Thank you. And her Greyhound Rescue tag. So you can get these at Petropolis. This is just a little neon tag bag, and it quiets down your dog so that when they're going down the hall, it's not extra loud. But people think it's some kind of magic dog training thing. It's not. Just a tag bag. Anyway, so I love the martingale collar because it's nice and soft and wide. A Greyhound has a really thick neck. A lot of muscle in a lot of places. But then they also kind of have a little pin head. No offense, Pookie. So a Greyhound can, back out of a collar in an emergency situation. So we like to have one that will tighten up but not pinch. As you can tell, this dog has pretty much no fat and very little fur. So we like to use the most comfortable collar to get the job done. So that's the martingale collar. I think she needs a little treat for all this spotlight. Okay, everybody's probably familiar with the choke chain. Going crazy with all these cords and things. Beggars can't be choosers, I know. Okay, so everybody has seen the choke chain since time began, and that will prevent a dog from backing out and in an emergency situation, but I think it's a little bit more, it's not as soft as a martingale, so it pinches more, so I don't actually use these, I'm just showing it, because Horse is a wonderful model, being that she's so tall and thin. You can kind of see how it tightens up and puts pressure on the trachea. I do not use these in my classes. I like to get the job done with something less aversive. Okay, this is a prong collar. As you can see, it has a whole bunch of prongs. Probably have seen people using these with their dogs as well. This is not a piece of equipment that I use for a dog that pulls, but let me show you how it works, because I'm sure you've seen these out in the world. Is an excellent model, so you can really see the action of this collar. When you're walking along, the dog pulls in front of you. The prongs put pressure on the dog's neck in order to provide a punishment to get the dog to stop pulling. I don't use this piece. I don't recommend it. Instead, I recommend an Easy Walk harness, which she happens to be wearing already, because that's how she rolls.